Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is The Valley Business Today as you are listening to the show. However, we have pre-recorded our conversation on a Monday morning, our second month in a row that we are not sitting across the table from Nikki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Nikki, we are so close yet so far apart.
I know. We participate in a lot of Zoom calls together during the week, Janet, but it's been a while since we've been together live, and I'm looking forward to a time when that happens again soon.
And on a regular basis.
Right, and on a regular basis.
Well, I'm excited today, too, because since we're on the Zoom screen, it does open up our options a little bit more, and sharing the Zoom screen with us today is the Culligan man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're happy to have Gary Keats with us today. I think we're both a little jealous because, Gary's leaving on a short vacation tomorrow. So he's going to, have his, he's going to be knee deep in the water somewhere tomorrow. So we're very jealous about that. Gary, thank you for being with us today.
No problem at all. Glad I could help.
So, Gary, I think it's hilarious because you are in water. I mean, your business is all about water. And when you choose to get away for a couple of days and take a break, you're actually going to a different kind of water.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I think one of our, with my family, it's always been about the beach, and that's where they enjoy to spend their time. So that's really it. One of these days, we'll be there, not permanently, but as a second home eventually. But right now it's good to go visit when we have time.
So tell me about Culligan, because you own the Culligan in Front Royal. Do you give me a quick overview of what Culligan does?
Sure. So for those that don't know, I mean, we're the largest water treatment company in the nation, right? And that's not us here locally. Of course, we're a franchisee of that. But Culligan's been around since 1936, and a lot of people don't realize that. So we're going on what's next year's 85 years, right? So I think the biggest thing to know about us is we started in this industry with Emmett Culligan. They would soften water using what they used to call zeolite. And during the Great Depression, they would take this zeolite and they would run it through the streets of Chicago, right, where businesses were shutting down. Emmett Culligan would line the streets with zeolite, and he'd hire people. And as it dried out, they'd put it in coffee cans, and that was your original water softener. You would hook that up to a sink, and that sink, you would run the water through it, through the coffee can. That would soften the water, and that's how you cleaned your dishes. From there, it got into bottling and process of bottled water, and then from there, they had this great franchise network. We're a little over 700 nationally, and when you stretch that out internationally, it gets closer to 2,000, and we're in pretty much every continent in the world now. But there's a lot that Culligan does on the back end and the front end. We're the local franchisee, so of course we help local people with water softening, water filtration, drinking water, bottled water. We have a bottling machine out front. We've got the delivery of what we call bulk water as well. So for this market here, it covers the Warren County, Fauquier County, Page, and Rappahannock County as well. So it's not just locality that we cover. We do cover a little 3 other counties as well.
So we were talking before we started recording for the radio show, and there were 2 things, and you just mentioned both of them that I had no idea. So I can come by with a container, my container, and fill it at Culligan with good water.
Absolutely, yes. It's 25 cents a gallon, and that machine will fill up to a 5-gallon jug at a time, and it, so it'll go 25 all the way up to $1.25, and you put it in, press a button, and you're good to go. Fills it up.
And then we were talking, and you mentioned it again a minute ago, bulk water. So that's like swimming pools?
Yeah, so there's a couple of businesses here in town that have been doing it for years, where they'll deliver water for, more importantly, cisterns for people that have or that do not have a well or municipal water to work off of. So we'll go around and we'll fill those cisterns and to back up a step, we actually acquired the Fristo's business, who had been doing it for a little over 20 years. And so we acquired that back in November, and that expanded us the ability to do the cisterns, but also in the summertime, we get really busy with that, with pool fills and top offs, and then jacuzzis and stuff like that. So
entertainment from one end to the other.
We do. We like to say, if it's water related, we can handle it. That's it.
Well, and I became a convert years ago, because I know growing up, it was just water out of the hose. I mean, that was kind of what you did. And I never understood, even into my early 20s, I'm like, why would people pay for water? This makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then somebody pulled me aside and said, here, let me fix you this cup of coffee with water from the tap, so to speak. And now let me fix you this cup of coffee with filtered water that has been, upgraded, is what they called it.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, you really can tell the difference.
Big difference. Absolutely. And, the unique part of one of the things that we offer in a home that a lot of people do not realize is a small unit that can basically provide you bottled water at your tap. So just like with your coffee taste test there, we do that in a home. And then we provide the customer with a machine that they can fill their Keurig coffee pot or, their standard regular coffee pot system with. And it does it. The water taste, or I'm sorry, the coffee and teas and anything that you mix with that water or rinse off with that water tastes better. It's got less, if it's for fruits and vegetables, it's got less chemicals and pesticides on it. And when you clean it off, it's got even less of that stuff. So it's unique in the fact that you could basically have a bottling plant right under your sink and provide that type of water.
And I know from growing up in, I say rural America, I grew up in Clearbrook, which is the other side of Winchester. We had well water. And I know that it was hard water because Dad would have to buy the big bags of salt. And we always had the nasty ring around the bathtubs and that sort of stuff. But this is what you provide people in the modern age, I guess you would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And although we still have salt conditioners and water softeners, technology is changing to the point where Culligan has designed a couple different systems to help you eliminate the use of salt. And one of them is, kind of what they call a track system, but it will filter the water or condition the water without the use of salt, but it doesn't physically soften the water. So we do now have the ability, and it started last week through a new product that Culligan brought to the table with another company that gives us the ability to truly soften the water without the use of salt. So that's a new product that's coming. It's unique to Culligan. We're the only company that will have that particular product. So but for those that still have to have softened water with a true salt water softener, we do provide the service where we will deliver the salt and put it into the system for you. Yeah.
And what about people, you mentioned people who get their water from a municipality. Do they still have a need for what Culligan can do?
Absolutely. So it's a common misnomer or misconception that because it comes from the town or is provided from a municipality, that it's the safest water in the world. And it's not that it's not safe, but they still have contaminants in that water that are either byproducts of treatment or anything along those lines that are required for them to make that water drinkable. There's still items in there that chlorine's a chemical, right? A lot of people don't realize that because we swim in it, and when you have municipal water, you bathe in it. So when you get out of the shower, you feel like you've been bathing in a swimming pool. Doesn't taste the greatest, so our refrigerators have filters on them to specifically take chlorine out of the water, which is 98% of the filtration that's on a refrigerator. It's a common misthought that water is perfect for you, and but it's good for a lot of people. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's water that passes guidelines and is safe for drinking, but it could always be better. Right.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I live in the town of Middletown. So we have Middletown town water. And I think once or twice a year with my water bill, I get this 4 or 5 page report that is the water quality report. Mm-hmm. And I used to read it and then realized I didn't have any idea what it was I was reading. Right. So I've just quit reading it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's certain things that they're required to keep within guidelines. And if they can't keep them within guidelines, they need to figure it out very quickly. Otherwise, the state can wreak havoc on those municipalities. So that water quality report will give you a lot of those chemicals that are required by the EPA standards or the Water Quality Association to be monitored and fall within certain guidelines. And if you can't, although at one point it was a requirement that municipalities in certain states will require the municipality to send you a water quality report, but with the internet day and age, a lot of people don't get paper statements anymore, so they also will post it typically on the municipality's website. You will find that. There's also another website out there that's used pretty frequently in our industry called the Environmental Working Group, and they go through and they pull from those water reports and they'll post them online as well. So it's an EWG website that helps with that as well.
So even though I'm on town water, so to speak, I can still get a Culligan system that's going to take all of that out, from taking showers, my ice machine in the freezer, from using the tap or any of that sort of stuff. I can still use a Culligan product.
Sure. And we've got to be careful because you don't want to remove everything in the water, right? So there's some things that are beneficial to you, such as calcium, magnesium. The hardness is actually beneficial to you. And there's devices that we can put onto our system to add those minerals back into the water. But we always want to be careful and say physically remove. We like to reduce items in the water, right? And simply because now there are some things that are going to be removed completely, and there are others that a lot of the beneficial stuff gets just a little bit amount gets left behind. But for the harsh chemical stuff like that, the machines will definitely create a better water experience for individuals and their homes.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back in the second segment, can we talk a little bit about community service? Because that was something that you mentioned to me too before we started recording. And I know Nikki is knee deep in the middle of giving out grants to local businesses. So can we make the whole second segment all about the community?
Sure.
I love that.
Every once in a while, it's the coffee. I'm not taking credit for it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation that we are having on a Zoom screen on a Monday morning. You, of course, are listening to it on Wednesday afternoon. It is the Valley Business Today. Nikki Kales is on the Zoom screen with me from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Gary Keats is also on the Zoom screen with us. He is our local franchise Culligan owner. We're going to talk with more with both of them when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley Business Today. As you are listening to the show, we, however, have pre-recorded it on a Zoom screen on a Monday morning. We are chatting with Nikki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Joining her on the screen is Gary Keats. He is our local Culligan man. And Gary, we were talking a little bit in the first segment, but before we started recording, I always like to ask guests, so, give me an idea of what you want to make sure we cover. And one of the things that you told me that I didn't know, I knew you were involved in the community, but you really do kind of make that a foundation for your local Culligan franchise, is to make sure that you are really involved in the community by donating stuff. So tell me a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, so we try to a couple times a year, and a lot of the time it ends up being consistently every month. But the biggest donation that we've done is with the Front Royal Little League. We will donate them small pack bottles for them to sell at the concession stand and stuff like that. But we also donate things donate water for like the boat races over there at the Humane Society. Is it the Humane Society? The Humane Society. So we'll donate water for them, and we'll donate if somebody is. A lot of people don't realize this about us. We don't keep a ton of bottled water here, but the stuff that we do have, we don't sell it. We donate it. And so it's usually about a pallet to 2 pallets a month. And we try to, in fact, keep that for donations, specifically for if we've got somebody that needs water that may have run out of water, maybe their well ran dry, they can call us and get, a couple cases of bottled water at no cost. So the big thing for us is we help out with donations there. We've recently partnered with other businesses in the community for donations of things that they offer. Everybody's familiar with CNC ice cream, the CNC guy. And we donated, I think it was for the first 50 children that came in a couple Saturdays ago, they got a free scoop of ice cream, and that was donated by us as well. So we try to be involved with the community as much as we possibly can. And with COVID, it's made it very difficult because a lot of businesses and a lot of our events and stuff that would normally be out there for us to donate to, they're just not happening. And we understand that as a business. We try to continue that moving forward, and just help people know or understand that we're still here. If they need anything in an emergency, let us know, and we'd be glad to help.
Well, and it's interesting because I've talked to so many business owners over the last several months about how they've had to get creative in running their business and getting customers to be able to safely come in the door and take part in their business, product, or service. And it's interesting to me because you've had to do the same thing, but it's literally to give away your product to do good.
Yep, absolutely. And that's, of course, we're following all the measures when you walk in the building up front. If you come through the front door, we've kind of got it blocked off so you can't really come more than 3.5, 4 feet in. And then we have people that'll help you outside with products that you need to pick up. But giving away product sometimes is difficult, just as difficult as getting people to come in the door. So, one of the things that we're going to look to do as we go into the next few months here, we mentioned earlier that we have the bottling machine out front. I think we're going to start doing what we call a free water Friday, where you can come out and we'll open the bottle machine up, and there'll be somebody there that'll talk to the technology behind that machine and what that machine actually does. And it'll be basically, you'll get up to 3 gallons of water at no charge, and we'll have somebody here to speak to that machine, of course, following all guidelines. So.
I love that. You should partner with Ray and Tina at AirServe and do the free water, free filter Fridays.
A great idea.
Right? Because it kind of makes sense. They're filtering the air, you're filtering the water. It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah. That would work out great.
So, Nikki, it's got to make your job a whole lot easier as the president of the chamber when you have businesses that come in like Gary has, take over a previous business and make community and giving back a cornerstone of what they do.
Well, so you, Janet, you've worked with the chamber enough to understand how it works. We're always making phone calls to businesses, either asking for donations or asking them to sponsor things, stuff like that. Well, that's not the case with Gary. Gary calls us and says, hey, what's going on? Or, I haven't gotten my sponsorship for wine and craft yet. What's going, those sorts of things. So yeah, he's rare, sort of like, Ray and Tina at Air Serv that you were just talking about. And yeah, the epitome of, supporting they do support the community in a number of ways. And we're really fortunate to have them in the community.
So I know you are knee deep right now in the middle of these business grants because the chamber is kind of managing that whole grant program. Tell me what the grant program is and what it is you're doing.
So we were really fortunate to be approached by the town of Front Royal, what they decided they wanted to do. So there was an allocation of CARES money that came from the federal government to our locality. And that money was split equitably between the town and the county. The town and county came together, and so the money comes to the county. The county will filter a certain amount of that money to the town. And the town decided with their allocation of money, they wanted to provide grants to small businesses who have been affected by COVID. And in order to do that, they needed an organization to administer that for them. So they approached the chamber, and we were, of course, more than willing to help with that. So essentially what we're doing is we put together a grant review team. We have reviewers that look over the grant applications as they come in, approve, deny, request additional information, whatever the case may be. We've got a pretty quick turnaround time on the grants right now. Of course, we'd love to have more applications. It is a very simple process. It's not, when you think about grants, typically you think about, you think about needing to have somebody who's a professional in grant writing to write your grant application.
Or an accountant to fill them out and get all of the information together.
Exactly. But that is not at all the case with this grant application. It's relatively straightforward and to the point. It's only a couple of pages long. You can apply online. And so, a lot of times, folks kind of pause because they're concerned about providing financial information. Now, it's a limited amount of financial information that you have to provide. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to demonstrate that, yes, you have been affected by COVID-19, that it has affected your business by 20%. And so for a lot of folks, it's as simple as showing a year-over-year comparison, from March until June. That's a really simple way to do it. You can submit tax returns if you want to. For folks who collect meals tax, that's a good way to show it. There's a lot of ways, and you don't have to submit every piece of financial documentation, just something that's going to show the reviewers. They just need to see that. So it's really important to get that out there because, I've had a lot of people who I've reached out to just to say, hey, these grants are available, you need to apply. That financial piece kind of holds people back a little bit, but do not let that get in your way. The grants range from $2,500 to $20,000. They're based on your gross receipts from 2019. It's just a good opportunity. We don't know how long, we're going to be in this climate that we're in currently. We don't know how long COVID-19 is going to affect us. So applying for grants that can assist your business or something that you can, put away, for the further in we get into this, it's definitely beneficial for folks to do that. Now, for the town grants, they're available for businesses in town. I know the County of Warren is working on something too, so hopefully they'll have a program out on the streets for the county businesses very soon. And this program is for the town businesses. Folks who are interested in applying can go to frontroyalva.com, and then there's a button on the front page where they can click Front Royal Cares. It's got a little icon with two hands holding, and then that'll take them directly to the Front Royal Cares page where the application is. Folks who, and we have run into some folks who don't necessarily have the ability to fill the application out online. They can come here to the chamber office at 201 East 2nd Street, and we're happy to help them do that. I have one of the town staff, she's actually working with me here at the chamber office for the next 2 weeks. And so I've got someone here to help with that. So anybody who, finds that that's a problem, we certainly have an answer for that too.
And I want to make sure people understand, when you say grants, that is literally free money. That isn't something you're going to have to pay back. You're not going to have to worry about if you don't use it for a certain thing, you're going to have to pay it back like the PPP loans. Yes. This is free money. Yeah,
this is yes, free money. Like you said, there's no need to apply for forgiveness. This is money to help you keep your business running during this really difficult time.
And what is the deadline? Because I know these aren't going to go on forever.
No, they're not. So the deadline is Monday, August 10th. So we've got, by the time this airs, folks will still have, 3 days that they can apply. I don't know that there will be any extension of deadlines for this. So I would definitely encourage people to apply. Don't let this pass by, because it's a great opportunity. And we're really, we're thankful that the town allowed us to partner with them on this process. And it's been terrific so far. And we're looking forward to seeing a lot of applications this week.
And I will put the link to everything that you just said on the show notes page on the station's website, so that people can go there if they're driving or they forget later. I'll be able to put that there. So Gary, before we wrap up, where can people get more information about Culligan? Do you guys have social media, website? Where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so best place, we have our website. It's culliganfr.com, for Front Royal is short. And then we've got our social media platform. Right now, our main one is Facebook. We do more through that than Instagram, although I would look to see Instagram and Snapchat should be rolling around sometime by the end of the year, I believe. But our Facebook is Culligan of Front Royal is our Facebook handle.
And that's where they should look out to see when Free Water Fridays start.
Yep. We're probably I believe that announcement's going to come out on the 10th. So that should come out next Monday.
So the minute you can't get free money from the town, Gary at Culligan's going to start giving away free water.
There it is.
Perfect timing. Well, speaking of timing, we are going to wrap up today's conversation for the Valley Business Today. We have been chatting with Nikki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Joining her on the Zoom screen is Gary Keats. He is the Culligan Front Royal franchise owner. Thank you both for hanging out and spending some time with me on a Monday morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Janet.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And since we've been talking about free stuff most of this episode, I do want to remind all of the local businesses, whether you're in Page County, Winchester, Frederick County, Clark County, Warren County, even Rappahannock County, Andrew at the radio station is doing radio grants. So if you are a business who has taken quite a hit from a customer perspective and need to get the word out, go to theriver953.com/radio grants. And Andrew has set aside $15,000, up to $15,000 in free radio advertising. You just have to fill out, again, like Nikki said, it's a quick application. It's right there on the website. You can fill it out online, or you can download the PDF and submit that to the station. And Andrew is going to choose who those winners are based on the results from the application. And I think they're going to be given out in radio schedules that are in $500 and $1,000 increments. So head over to theriver953.com/radio grants. You can do that while you're at the station at theriver953.com, listening to what you missed from today's show. Just click the podcast tab, hit the Valley Today, and it will all be there. I'll be back here tomorrow. Brand new episode, as always, for you a few minutes after noon.